of Iowa. Here is the MVP. Offense turned it over 25 times in Hamilton. Nice find underneath. Ionescu catch and shoot as Jones steps into a three.
Performance right here, handling the physical. She's going to be targeted by every
times. New York's had some water
in transition, and that's that transition deep.
Here's a newcomer, and Katie Lewis. Ionescu will fire away.
Already tonight than they did against Connecticut.
As Stewart works her way into Grondello in her third year in New York.
One of those new fans to the game, Pat. 24
side. This will be a fun matchup tonight. Jones, second most points she scored with the Liberty in that run to the finals. Hit a big one in the fourth.
Yeah, that's
one to go her way here in the early going tonight. Smith on the left block.
It's a really good shot blocking front line.
To sit earlier than Indiana would.
To try to put her at a deficit defense.
Thought about the three, and she'll drive on. This Indiana offense last year, fifth. Boston being
struggles with the physicality of Connecticut.
Good ball movement. Samuelson's open. Chase Jones around the perimeter as Stewart only had 8 points.
Show out, and I love it. Coming here, you can just.
Smith with the crossover off balance, push shot. Jones from the foul line, shot too strong.
Anna's defense, then New York is 2 of 5.
She's dealing with that ankle injury inside, spins it over to Boston. Now second-year pro Aaliyah Boston, leading the Indiana Fever. Just minutes with the Liberty. Here's Ionescu. A year ago. It has the size advantage on Stewart. Turn points for Boston as Stewart the other way.
So the step-up screen gets the swing
in here, turns the corner on Stewart. And in 2019, Ionescu finds
Sabrina
Clark. Step back three. That first three-pointer as Lainey Hamilton throws 4 of 15 from the field. Forward pass, Samuelson a corner three. Stewart on a step back. Man, that she scored on Tuesday. Samuelson's already. Hamilton were all pre-COVID and title. She was a huge part of it.
Clark. Screen action comes Pat.
Stewart, contested look over Elsie Casper. I'm Pat Boylan. And here, Boykic, tough. Boykic driving by Clark, who had the top. That might be your first. Clark finds some space. Kennedy Burke, a former
for Erica Wheeler on the top of the.
That's a tough look. And Wheeler, Melissa Smith through traffic and draws.
Missing a couple of open shots as she typically.
Burke gets around Smith to the rim and a nice
in rotation.
Vandersloot pulls up, driving into Ionescu, using the other. Ionescu from the mid-range. Whole corner three. She knocks
that all year. The Impact changed their venues, tickets, because there's a demand. It'll change the way they look at women's sport. Almost half, 47. You should be grateful that somebody like Caitlin.
Denied as Mitchell gets inside. So talented, so entertaining. John. Here's Wallace off balance, draws.
Part of the Opals.
Friendly?
No.
Fever bench. She'll take advantage of it. Ionescu off balance. She's been brilliant already. Jones high-low. It's Stewart.
The smaller lineup. Katie Lou Samuelson.
Everything running through Stewart so far. First half has given the Liberty a 9-point. On Jones. Boston ducks in. Back for Stewart. Her launches and misses.
This is a big lineup with Katie Lou Samuelson. Defense is a good script.
NBA 5 years later. And there is Lainey Hamilton. The step through and Liberty really protect
one else to be MVP of the league, but
was against Indiana. Let's see if Caitlin Clark. Samuelson mid-range shot
the other night.
Early had some big back in August. This will send John against Washington, and New York needed every. Greg Benley finds some space.
Let her go to work.
Jones pulls down. Stewart sets up Ionescu way short. Bounce pass. There's Boston. So many assists. And Boston the patience. And
Bopper catch than that. It's a great find by
Stewart driving into fact. Benley off down.
For New York.
Looking to put the finishing touches on a championship this year. Little scoop shot leaves it short. Boston's put it. As number 17, there is Samuelson. Deep position lays ahead of Indiana's 33 points here.
It also has to be
a trend your teams have as Stewart. At least right now.
She has 4.
She got into a little foul trouble.
Time defending Katie Lou on that.
Indiana's knocked down their first 2 shots of the inside for Stewart.
Action.
Somehow found its way to Boston. Vandersloot drives on Clark, puts on the driving it back at Jones and a bank shot. Austin comes up with a stop on the Hamilton. Spinning, fading, fire. Stewart fading.
She was the MVP of
Effort. Here's Stewart. Fever really tested. Laney fires inside. There's Jones. He struggled to find space.
Yes, here's a point I want to make for your work.
Mitchell catch and shoot. Extra pass. Vandersloot.
He said not quite, but we'll be hard to get a bunch of new players.
Baskets lately. Laney Hamilton.
Possible.
Benley on second chance points as Laney Hamilton came back to Indiana to start last. Then I think every point guard
Had not seen, and there is.
Bentley into a double team, and
we're seeing what she can do when she stays on the floor.
To see Caitlin Clark looking for that signature moment here in Indiana. Ionescu, a deep three off. Mitchell drive it into a triple team. Get almost all the attention looking her way.
Operate in when you can make.
And Mitchell. Ionescu driving into Wheeler off bound.
Ooh, that's a tough pass. Is Sabrina.
Clark on the drive, gets in.
The speed of the game, that's an example.
And Clark. And in fact, Benley misses. Rookie out of Germany. Vandersloot left alone. There's 2 points on 3 shots here tonight. Clark, step back three.
Back to back now.
Out on their feet. Vivish. All of a sudden, Caitlin Clark here. She's gotten to the line.
Anticipation or the expectation to lead, transforming.
And Berger is fouled by
Underneath the rim, and then the extra rotation.
You've got vision like that. For one, there's a 9-second differential that has the size advantage on Mitchell. Lead.
Everybody sprint. Let's
bounces in the.
After their second preseason game, open shots open for everyone else.
We know Kelsey, she can impact the game. More as she.
Hamilton wide open. And Stewart fouled and
Acrobatic finish by Stewart.
Inside, Jonquel Jones is home free. Sets up Clark. Oh, had the
of New York has been an issue on the floor.
opened up here with the first 7 points up. She'll be done. Ionescu launches and pretty since the start of last year. Fever do have a year an overtime loss as Clarkson. Indiana looking at a similar Jones. Beautiful find. Ionescu on fourth quarter. As Smith. And right back inside Jones, the MVP in 2021.
Games are against 2 of the top 3 teams.
3 posts for Smith.
Tuesday night with a back-to-back level right now, but I thought Phoenix not easy at all.
It's important to keep into context here.
In the timing, the rhythm of your offense, and it takes some time for that to happen.
Players, Katie Lou Samuelson. Smith driving the baseline.
Okay.
Shot clock down to 2. Wheeler has here tonight. And there's an area you could point to where. And Boston.
As the season went on last year.
As Vandersloot finds some space. Not be a success.
You need to know how. He went 12 for 21 from the floor. And she's
for the MVP. What a year from Indianapolis as Berger off balance leaves it short. Offensive rebound. And they went toe to toe. So were large portions of her Iowa.
In the fourth quarter. Indiana never will get to
11 points in the second half. She had 20 points on a night where rookie. As Thornton, Bentley had it blocked on the other end. It's a timeout, except Thornton another corner.
Aspects of the game. Sideline out of.
Saxton steps into a three.
Right. They have won at the highest level athletes with skill.
We're at the beginning of last season, but
Tails for Indiana with a younger looks like in this league.
Inside Saxton, pounded up. Much bigger picture here. And survey, there was one unanimous answer. As Doike into triple digit.
And again, another offensive rebound for New York.
And Stewart looking to put the finishing touches as their eyes set on a championship this year. And a look as Mitchell turns on the Jets. Little scoop shot leaves it short. Boston's put looking at a 17-point deficit. As number 17 out of the floor in that first half. As Samuelson, deep position, lays it.
Excellent job.
Samuelson has 10 of Indiana's 33 points here.
You know, I think their transition defense also has to be.
The point guard, that tends to be a trend your teams have as Stewart quarter early here in the third. At least right now.
She has 4.
Looks on both ends of the floor. She got into a little foul trouble.
Ionescu doing a much better job at that time defending Katie Lou on that.
Wheeler with 4 points. Indiana's knocked down their first 2 shots of the Smith, hounding Vandersloot. Inside for Stewart.
Playing in space on that stagger action.
Samuelson threw a triple team. It somehow found its way to Boston. Vandersloot drives on Clark, puts on the other end. Austin driving it back at Jones, and a bank shot. She's starting to get going a little bit for Indiana. Austin comes up with a stop on the deep. Lainey Hamilton spinning, fading, fire, cash in. 15 second chance points here tonight. Stewart fading.
Only championships at UConn. 4 times she was the MVP of
last year, including a 42-point effort. Here's Stewart. Clark off the ball.
time.
Fever really tested. Laney fires inside. There's Jones.
6-6 wide open at the rim.
A 20-point opener. She struggled to find space.
Well, I think for Indiana to get back in this, here's a point I want to make for your defense and try to get some of your actions to work.
Mitchell catch and shoot. Jones pulls it down. Stewart extra pass. Vandersloot.
Wanted to change the pace, the speed, the cuts. She said not quite, but she's saying we don't have the timing down right. Be hard to get a bunch of new players.
Ups here on the defensive end. They're just trading baskets lately. Laney Hamilton.
Everything. She scored in every way possible.
Benley outscored Indiana by 16 on second chance points as Laney Hamilton.
Erica Wheeler.
Wheeler, who came back to Indiana to start last year wing. Something I think every point guard. Offensively.
That's a new set though we had not seen, and there is.
Back Bentley into a double team and the stage back in the WNBA.
It was quick. And now we're seeing what she can do when she stays on the
Again, Lexi Hull will take a breather. People here, or so many to see Caitlin Clark. Still looking for that signature moment here in Indiana.
Good for Caitlin.
Ionescu, a deep 3 off. Mitchell drive it into a triple team. When she was drafted, has had almost all the attention looking her way.
Oh, I think she's going to have additional space to operate in. When you can make, it's going to open up the floor.
And Mitchell.
Top of the floor.
Ionescu driving into Wheeler, off bound. Benley back to Mitchell, lost the handle.
Ooh, that's a tough pass. 1 for 7 from the 3-point line is Sabrina.
Game where they are up by 20. Clark on the drive, gets in.
Shoulders past somebody, you can score, but the speed of the game, that's an exam. The corner.
And Clark, Fag-Benley into the passing lane. And Fag-Benley missed. Leonie Fiebisch, rookie out of Germany. Vandersloot left alone. 2 points on 3 shots here tonight. Clark, step back 3.
Not out of that in my day. Back to back now.
In Indianapolis, as the crowd on their feet, Fiebisch. All of a sudden, Caitlin Clark here, she's gotten to the line.
Is it the anticipation or the expectation, especially with everything that she has helped the league transform into one opportunity here?
Extra pass, swing at Berger, and Berger is fouled by
job with the drift pass because she caught it underneath the rim, and then the extra rotate.
Speed and the athleticism, Debbie, but when you've got vision like that, within 11 here, they do get the 2 for 1. There's a 9-second differential. Laney Hamilton has the size advantage on Mitchell. Lead
by Caitlin Clark right there. Hold it up. Everybody sprint. Let's.
Clark bounces in the
Quickly caught off by Melissa Smith, saying after their second preseason game, defense, they're paying attention to Caitlin. That leaves open shots open for everyone else who want to go along with their 9 points.
We know, Kelsey, she can impact the game for her as her time gets more. As she
Laney Hamilton wide open. No look. Stewart fouled and
What an acrobatic finish by Stewart.
inside. Jonquel Jones is home free. Wheeler sets up puck. Oh, had the
Well, the length of New York has been an issue on the.
Liberty have opened up here with the first 7 points of their fifth. One more, she'll be done. Ionescu launches, and the Liberty since the start of last year.
Over above 500 last year.
Beavers do have accomplishments last year, an overtime loss as Clarkson in the extra session. Indiana looking at a similar. Jones, beautiful find. Ionescu 12 points to start the fourth quarter as Smith. Hamilton switch on to Smith. And right back inside. Stewart's won a pair of MVPs. Jonquel Jones, the MVP in 2021. Seattle and Vegas coming
the
up.
first 4 games are against 2 of the top 3 teams.
3 posts for Smith.
I had Phoenix at Vegas on Tuesday night with a back-to-back with a toe injury, so she's not available right now. But I thought Phoenix was to go to. So the schedule's not easy at all.
Opens with a tougher schedule than Indiana, so important to keep into context here.
Well, you know, there's a chemistry part in the timing, the rhythm of your offense come together. And it takes some time for that to happen.
With the Fever with numerous new players. Katie Lou Samuelson, 100% health to start the year. Smith driving the baseline.
Making Caitlin Clark work for everything.
Shot clock down to 2. Wheeler has taken 13 more shots than the Fever have here tonight. And their 3-point line, maybe the one area you could point to where underneath. The switch on to Burke. And Boston.
We made a significant improvement as the season went on last year.
Wins. As Vandersloot finds some space, a goal. Anything less would not be a success.
With the new eyes coming to the league, we need to know how. 21 shots, where she went 12 for 21 from the floor. And she's
Stewart's, what a night for the MVP. What a nearly flawless performance here from Indianapolis as Berger off balance here in the WNBA as Dojkic leaves it short. Offensive rebound. 2 of the top point guards in the Big Ten. They went toe-to-toe. So fan base that didn't like her all that much for large portions of her Iowa.
Cut it to 11, and they went on that late run here in the fourth quarter. Indiana never time, and certainly Caitlin Clark will get to.
Beaver never got closer than 11 points in the second half. There's a similar story in Connecticut. She had 20 points on a night where off night. She's impactful, even as a rookie. As Thornton
knew that.
Bentley had it blocked on the other end. It is essentially in the final 2 minutes a timeout, except as the season continues. Another corner.
Execute. You have to be good in those aspects of the game. Sideline at a ball called set.
Saxton steps into a threat. Stewart's.
That's a core group that knows how to win, right? They have won at the highest level. There are highly competitive, elite level athletes with skill.
Figuring out the chemistry like they were at the beginning of last season, but 2024.
Larger details for Indiana with a younger and know how to win and know what it looks like in this league.
Minutes. Inside Saxton, pounded up. Go the way the Fever wanted it to. A much bigger picture here. Questions. In the annual GM survey, there was one unanimous answer, 100% Indiana Fever. As Dojkic in New York into triple digits.